Hi, everyone. This book is called the Fontes and Pinnell Literacy Continuum, and it looks similar to a black and white version that you might have in the school. They're basically set up the exact same and have almost the same information in them. This one's just a little bit more updated. But if you haven't gotten a chance to really dig into this book, it's amazing, and essentially it's sort of a comprehensive literacy program in that it explains sort of all of the different parts. And so when you first open it, it is connected to the Fontes and Pinnell benchmarking system. And on the very first page that you open it, it actually breaks apart all of the different pieces in your literacy block. And actually explains it and gives you some examples. And so it talks about interactive read alouds and what that's defined as and how you might connect that back to the wheel so that when you're targeting whole group instruction, it might be something that most of your class is having difficulty with. And so then in your interactive read aloud, you would be able to target that during that time. It also talks about shared and performance reading, writing about reading, writing, oral and visual communication, tech communication, phonics, spelling and word study, guided reading, and then some grammar and mechanics. The first thing that I want to show you is on page 8, there are the exit targets. On page 165, it actually starts to explain the forms of writing. On page 228, it's really great because it actually talks about the systems of writing. And so within the systems of writing, it has the genre, which is your persuasive, your narrative, your procedural, and then it shows conventions, grammar, capitalization, punctuation, spelling, handwriting, and then the craft. So the word choice, the voice, the organization, idea development. So it really gives you a really great visual of all of those parts that you need to consider in your literacy program. The other piece, if you turn to the phonics and word study section, what I really like about it is it's all set up by grade. So it says right at the top which grade you're looking in. And so let's just say we go to the grade 1 section. It's going to lay out phonological awareness and all those pieces that they should have in grade 1. It's going to talk about letter knowledge. It's going to talk about early literacy concepts. It's going to talk about letter-sound relationships. And then something in spelling patterns, which we don't always think about, it actually tells you all of the different spelling patterns that they should have in that grade. And what else did I want to show? Structure. If you go to the guided reading section, it is by level. So if you have a student, so this is all by level, if you have a student who is potentially at level C, it's going to tell you all of the text features, and basically that it talks about the text gradient. So all of the parts that make up this being a level C and what makes that a level C. If you go to the next page though, it's set up so that it connects back to the wheel. So it has the thinking within the text. It has the thinking within the text again. It has the thinking beyond the text, and it has the thinking about the text. And so depending on which slice your student need is based on the FMP, you can come to this guided reading section and you can actually select goals that you would do in your guided reading groups. And so, for example, if you had a student who was struggling with inferencing, it actually shows in the thinking beyond the text. Here's all the pieces within that. And so for inferring, it kind of outlines all of the things that you could be thinking about in that guided reading group. So things like talk about the characters' feelings inferred from pictures of the stories, infer humor that is easy to grasp, example, silly characters, funny situations. And so it kind of just gives you examples of different things that you consider and that you can teach to your students in those small groups or even in whole groups. And then the thing that's even really great is at the very end of that selecting goals section, there's a piece that's called planning for letter and word work after your guided reading. So when you're done working with this group of students in guided reading, you can come here for some really great ideas and things that you can do with your students that are word work that are based on students reading at a level C. So for example, it says that you can break apart high frequency words, or you can clap the syllables, 1 and 2 syllables, the words from the pictures that you see. So it gives you ideas of how you can actually work with the book at the guided reading table. Yeah, so a really great resource. And then the next resource that I'm going to show you is the Fontes and Pinnell guided reading text, which is about just as thick as this.